Hello and welcome to X and Y Gaming Casually Competitive. And in today's video, I've got an actual viewer request deck profile. I know, people watch my videos, it's crazy. Well, this man Leon over here from the Twitter asked me if I would do a deck profile on the card Necrofusion. Unfortunately for Leon, I have no idea how to make decks, but I threw together this one. And while it might not win you any meta tournaments anytime soon, you'll definitely have fun in a casual setting. It is, as my show's namesake is, casually competitive. Alright, so starting off, we'll run one copy of Darkest Diablos, Lord of the Lair. There's a few tributing effects here and there, and anytime any of those things get tributed, he can be special summoned from either your hand or graveyard, meaning his recursion effect is second to none and very beautiful. There are three Arma the Wicked Wardens. Not only is he a terraforming on legs that you discard for the field spell, but also if he's on the field, you contribute a monster to draw a card, or get a Darkest Diablo to get him to your hand. Darkest Diablo, Darkest Diabolos from your deck to your hand, and that's pretty good. I'd also like to point out that it isn't just him you can search from your deck to your hand, but you can also get a Danger Nessie, so there's a little bit of extra wiggle room there too. Moving on, we have 3 Lilith Lady of Laments. She is not only great as a 2000 attack beat stick. Oh, okay, well that's only if she gets special summoned. If you normal summon her, she only has 1000 attack, but she can tribute one of your opponent's monsters with the help of the field spell and get a trap card from your deck to your field. Now, granted, there's only 6 trap cards, and you'll have to play around that, and if you really want, you can trade in some of these danger monsters for some trap cards instead. That's up to you, but I just like to take risks. Next we have 2 Lone Fire Blossoms, and that's so we can set up to hopefully get out the Scorpio. You want Scorpio in your deck. You want Lone Fire Blossom in your deck. You want at least 1 Lone Fire Blossom in your hand. You summon that, tribute Lone Fire Blossom to get the next one, just to thin the deck down a little. Then tribute that Lone Fire Blossom to get Scorpio, and then use Scorpio's effect to hopefully discard a danger monster so that you can special summon Cobra from the deck. Again, it's the same thing as running 6 trap cards in a deck that has Lilith and would normally want more than 6 trap cards in it. I like to live life on the edge. Danger Nessie is at 2. Danger Tsuchinoko is at 2, and Danger Jackalope are also all at 2. Jackalope and Tsuchinoko get to special summon themselves, which just make for fantastic Link or Fusion summon fodder. And also, if you can manage to discard them for Super Poly or for the Cobra, then that's good, because then you get a free special summon, which again, you can turn into another Fusion monster or Link monster. After all the dangers are out of the way, we've got 2 Eater of Millions. This little adorable monster is summoned by banishing 5 cards. Usually what I do is just banish these 5 right here up to Saryuja. That might be heresy, but 9 times out of 10, I don't bother summoning Saryuja. Am I a bad Yu-Gi-Oh player? Yes. There's also 2 Necroface. What with the Pot of Desires being at 3 and Eater of Millions in general, it's pretty cool to have Necroface around after setup to plop them down, recycle all your cards, and have a pretty nice bead stick to boot. As previously mentioned, there are 3 Pot of Desires, and while Ash Blossom does exist, so does these 3 Called by the Grave. Yeah, we've got an upstart goblin, but hey, it's a 1 and you get to trade it in for another card. It's like playing with a 39 card deck. Why would you not? With almost the namesake of the deck, Super Polymerization is at 3, but for the sake of consistency, what am I kidding? This deck isn't consistent. For the sake of the hell of it, we've got 2 Super Polymerizations. This is a very, very beautiful spell card, and if you don't know what it does, please go watch my video about it. Super Poly is pretty super. Link in the description. Please go watch my other videos. Terraforming's at 1, so we run it. 3 Layer of Darkness, because that is what is going to let us tribute monsters for this effect, and this effect. Admittedly, as Super Poly works without this making everything dark, this just makes this work easier. This uses any monster from any side of the field by its own effect. It doesn't need this using its once per turn, stealing a monster, whatever. You know what I mean? So here's 5, 6, 7, 8 copies of this. 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, because, let's be honest, decks nowadays pretty much need to be running Infinite Impermanence at 3. You also have Necrofusion at 2, and that rounds off the deck, and we'll just ignore the fact that everything got screwed up for a minute. Moving on to the extra deck, we're going to start with the links. The first 5 I send for Eater of Millions at any given point in time. Now, of course, if you are running the deck and you decide you want to keep one of these, you can choose another card instead to send. But for the most part, I just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 done. You know what I mean? Just get on with my life. But for the hell of it, we have Link Kuriboh, Nightmare Cerberus, Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Unicorn, and Saryuja's Skuldread. Now for the ones I actually try to summon on a daily basis, we have Borrelsword Dragon for running over pretty much everything, Borrelslode Dragon for pretty much stealing everything, Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax because, oh my god, that man is bae. For generic fusions, we have 2 Mud Dragon of the Swamp. These little guys consist of 2 monsters with the same attribute, but they have to have different types. Also, your opponent cannot target this card or monsters on the field with the same attribute as this card with card effects. Meaning, since, oh, by the way, the last line of text is you can declare an attribute and this card's attribute becomes that attribute until the end of this turn. Let's say your opponent has a bunch of fire attribute monsters and they want to buff one of their monsters up with an effect that targets it. Well, just wait a minute. What if I made Mud Dragon of the Swamp a fire attribute? Well, then you can't target any of your monsters with those effects. Yeah. And, you know, it comes in handy. And, yeah, you gotta re-up every turn, but, you know, it's fun. Predaplant Dragastapelia is pretty good and actually relatively easy to pull off if you get at least 1 Mud Dragon of the Swamp out, followed by one of these guys in the graveyard. You Necrofusion them both out face down, and you get a free Dragastapelia out for basically nothing. And yes, I know it's not actually nothing, because you still have to set up, but it's Necrofusion. You do it during your opponent's turn. Be like, oh, I attacked this thing. Be like, no, Necrofusion. Now you're attacking Dragastapelia. If you want. The next card is 1 Dragonecro Nether Soul Dragon. This is one of those cards that I can actively say you don't need, but it's pretty cool. Next, we have 1 World Chalice Guard Dragon Alamarduke. Sorry, the text is cut off there, and it's really weird. But it's only 3 Link monsters. Like, that should be really easy to get. Especially, think about it. You're going against, like, Skystrike. Okay, that's a really bad example. You're going against something like Guard Dragons. That done. It's, like, easily done, right? They're going to make a Landfallinkus with an Elfie and a Pisty. Bam. Super Poly done. Bye-bye Alamarduke. Well, no, bye-bye Link Dragons. Hello, Alamarduke. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, is good. The bread and butter of this deck that I love, the whole reason I built this deck in general, like, without knowing this card existed, Layer of Darkness, Super Poly, Trifiovertum. You know what I mean? Your opponent's got 3 monsters? No, you got a Trifiovertum, baby. And that's Super Poly, ain't doing anything about it. And then add insult to injury, turn in 2 of those monsters from your graveyard back into a new monster. Beautiful. And because Dragon Maids are 100% a thing now in Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, 5-headed dragon. I'm serious. Like, between Guard Dragon plays in general, between Dragon Maids in general, between Dragoonities in general, just dragons are all over the place, alright? They're more prominent now than they were in The Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Okay? 5-headed dragon, 5 dragons. They're doing guard dragon plays. Oh no, Super Poly. Bye-bye all that stuff you just did. And hello, 5,000 beat stick for me. Please like, comment, subscribe, and hug your mama. Play the outro song.